Hello, everybody. Welcome to the quiet side of Florida. This is Real Estate Matters. For over 11 years, the voice of real estate in Flagler County and Palm Coast, Florida. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com. I'm a Florida licensed realtor with Grand Living Realtor. And co-host Anne Maria Long is not with me today. It's just me alone, but she is at home with a sick child, but she's on the phone. Aren't you,
Hello.
Anne Maria?
I'm here, yes. We will
Good.
not get Toby sick no matter what.
Well, sometimes it's kind of nice to be on the other end of the age spectrum. I don't have to worry about sick children.
That's true.
So,
You're out of that side of life.
Yes, I am. I used to think 50 was middle-aged until I realized I wasn't going to live to be 100. So let's get to February stats. It's the end of it is the end of the month when y'all are listening or watching this show on Saturday, which is the 28th, last day of February, but we've got some close to the end of the month numbers today. We'll still be getting new numbers in early next week, but February is shaping up to be quite a bit like February a year ago. Month to date, that's through about noon today, and we're recording this on Thursday afternoon. 169 single-family homes were sold in Florida County, according to the Flagler Multiple Listings Service. The median price was $365,000. Now that compares to last year when the median price was only $364,990. So your average home would have appreciated over the last year by $10.
Every dollar counts, doesn't it?
Where's all that? I'm not hearing any applause. Days on market, 72. Last February, there were... I've lost it. The number of homes apparently got erased from my notes, but it's 180 something, I think it was, last year. So anyway, we're going to be close to last year on number of homes sold and median price. But here's an early change. You heard it here first. 18 homes have sold already this month in the $250,000 or less market. And that's been averaging in the 8 to 12 per month range. 7 of those were for cash, 17 days on market. So it's still a very quick moving segment of the market. On the other end, the $1 million plus market that we track regularly, only 5 homes have been sold this month. Days on market is 24. So notice days on market for both ends of the market are below the overall market. Remember, overall market was 72 days. So days on market for the 5 homes was only 24. 5 homes over $1 million. That's very unusual. 1,238 homes are listed for sale through the MLS. That's versus 1,292 a year ago. So it's a slight decrease. Days on market, 76. 356 homes are in the pending file. The pending file means it was once listed, but now it's under contract. So it's not in the listed category anymore. It's now in the pending category, waiting to close. So what's today's topic? We're going to be talking about a topic nobody else is talking about, growth and impact fees.
Unless you're on Nextdoor. Then you might be talking about it.
Or unless you're going to city council meetings or planning board meetings or cocktail parties in general.
I guess the real difference is we're going to be accurate when we talk about it.
Yes, we're going to dispel some rumors and we're going to say this, tell it like it is. So arguments against uncontrolled growth or any kind of growth at all, along with accusations of greed, collusion, bribes, have dominated social media and public comments at public meetings for months. The cacophony, I love that word, because
Mm.
it is what it sounds like. The cacophony is getting worse, not better. The vitriol is palpable and seldom accompanied by the truth. People shout in person and online as they want Palm Coast to remain like it was when they moved here. To them, I say, I know just how you feel. I felt the same way before you moved here. When you look in the mirror this morning, did you see the same person that moved here 10 years ago? I don't think so, because something's
No.
changed. Change is inevitable. Uh, I've heard it said that a developer is someone who wants to build a house on the beach. A conservationist is someone who already owns a house on the beach.
That is that's quite accurate.
So, and to the tree huggers that talk about all these strip mining of future developments, I asked them to drive west over the Hammock Dunes toll bridge. And from the top of the bridge, take a notice of the absence of large acres of land clear cut for development. Instead, they will find a lack of tall buildings and miles of dense tree canopy under which 112,000 people live in over 50,000 homes. So I've lived here for 26 years, and I know, we aren't in the studio together, Anna Maria, so we can't hand signal and give
Yeah.
body
I have
language
lived
clues.
here. I've lived here longer, and I had a similar conversation to what you're going to describe here shortly, with a builder actually, who has recently returned back to the area after about a 2-year hiatus, and they built here previously, and he was genuinely blown away. He'd taken an Uber previously in his time here, which was maybe 4 years ago, and his Uber driver had been a longtime resident of the Palm Coast area, and she was telling him some of the, I guess, history, if you will, of Palm Coast and how much it has in fact changed. And he was truly blown away. But what I thought was the most special about our conversation is how much he appreciated the history of Palm Coast and how cool it was to him that it's changed this way. And I was sharing with him my own experience of growing up here, going to high school here, and just the changes since then, which was 20 years ago since I've graduated high school at FPC. And what I think is a beautiful thing, because I've got children that I'm raising here and I want them to have these incredible opportunities that I've come to have, but that if the changes didn't happen, I wouldn't have. And I very much so would not have returned back to Palm Coast, which maybe some people would like that. I'm sure there's some group of people who wouldn't be glad if I wasn't here. And that's okay, because there's more people who are glad I'm here. And I'm happy I'm here for my children's sake and for my family's sake. The reason that I do what I do and I believe in what I do is for my kids and your kids and everyone listening's kids' futures. For my mom, for my husband and myself, that we have everything that we need here in this beautiful place that we've already chosen to call home.
Well, I've been here 26 years. Moved here very early, year 2000. And some things have changed since I moved here. Roberts Road was extended from the Seaway plant to State Road 100. State Road 100 was 4-lane from Old Kings Road to Bunnell. That used to just be a 2-lane road. Belterre was 4-laned and rerouted at the northern end.
Man, I got lost coming home from college when they rerouted it. I called my mom and I said, I think I got lost. I can't find Belterre. Oh, they moved it.
Well, let's share with the audience that it is true that you have to face north to read a road map.
Yes, for me it is.
So what other changes? Palm Coast Parkway was 6-lane from Florida Park Drive to Belterre. and that means 6-laning the bridge across I-95.
Yes.
Interstate 95 was 3-laned in each direction throughout the entire county. Matanzas Woods Parkway was extended over I-95 to Old Kings Road, and an I-95 interchange was added. Northern Old Kings Road was paved from where Matanzas High School is now up to US 1. It used to be a dirt road, except for the bridge over I-95 that was paved.
I can also add that Matanzas High School was built and created. It didn't exist.
It wasn't there then, right? And several new schools, including Matanzas, parks, trails, and fire stations have been added. And this is really important. Dining and shopping options are more numerous.
Very much so. So. The entire Target shopping complex area was trees.
And these things, this kind of change is not going to stop. It's going to continue to happen. It's always going to happen behind the curve. It's not the nature of government to build things before they're needed. You start building them or planning to build them when the need has already pretty much been passed already or exceeded. And then it takes...
which is frustrating to the public, but if you build the road before it's needed, it's kind of the same, it'll create the same conundrum we're already in from ITT putting in the water infrastructure before everyone was here, right? We're paying for it, and the people aren't here to support the payments.
And people don't want to pay for something that's not absolutely needed yet, but then because it's government doing it, it's going to take some time. So it takes a couple of years of planning and then a couple of years of construction, and you're already past the point where you needed that addition anyway. But that's just the nature of government projects. So on February 17th, Palmco City Council meeting, Council member Pontieri was apparently frustrated by the always present diatribes during public comment against council's ability to control growth. So she pointed out in about a 5-minute monologue, she pointed out that the present council had not approved any new residential rooftops. And I didn't fact check, but I assume that that's true. The current pipeline, which is often overquoted to be 18 or 20,000 homes, was approved long ago. She also stated, but this is the interesting part, she also stated that she had worked hard to limit growth by meeting with staff to deny projects. She's talking about, she said, this is the stuff that we don't see that goes on behind the scenes, as if that was a plus for her. But she talked about denying projects by not letting them proceed to the council. So my immediate reaction was, is that legal? But anyway, if you want to hear what she had to say, check out the February 17th meeting. It's available online at the city website, and start listening at about the 1 hour, 50-minute mark. And interestingly, at the same meeting, Pontier also announced that she was returning 5 campaign donations from developers. That was just...
Yes, and there is an Observer article that follows up on the campaign donations, and she gives a lot more explanation to that, because she states, and I'll summarize it the best I can. I don't want to misstate what she said, but essentially that she felt that the work that ICI's project was doing to provide housing for our frontline workers was becoming tainted by the public's opinion that opinion and their comments that her choices and her vote was tainted by these campaign donations. So that's why she said I believe she used the word sacrificing, and again, I'm not reading it directly, that she's sacrificing her own campaign dollars to make sure that the public is not mistrusting her decision.
For the record, I do support that council decision, though. I'm a supporter of mixed housing.
Yeah, the housing is definitely needed. We talked about it a little bit last week, and I support the decision as well. I think that a little bit more time for the public's benefit probably would have helped the public be a little bit more confident in understanding it, because it felt like a little rushed. But we've got to trust that the people that we vote into office have done the work, and that they had done work with staff in the interim between reading 1 and reading 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we put them in place to do. And there was discussion at that meeting about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are limits on the discussions that the council should be having with staff. It shouldn't be including giving instructions. Staff.
No, definitely not. No. Yeah, there's some. That's questionable. Mm-hmm.
Well, it should be raised as a question. Yes, I agree. So let's set some other items straight. Let's talk about things like impact fees right after this break. Don't go away. We will be right back. Well, welcome back, everybody. Glad you could stay with us. I want to go back to the beginning of the show and recognize our sponsors, which I forgot to do. Veranda Bay is our primary sponsor. They're located down on John Anderson Flagler Beach address, but not in the city of Flagler Beach quite yet, although their annexation has been approved. But they're beautiful homes there. You should tell them about the Parade of Homes model that's going to be there.
Parade of, absolutely. So we've got a few Parade of Homes entries in there, but our showcase home is the Bay Breeze by Holbert Homes, and that is located in Veranda Bay.
So it's really a beautiful community.
It is. Our Parade of Homes is April 11th through 19th. You'll be able to learn more about our parade at flaglerparadeofhomes.com.
And you can learn more about
see all the houses.
You can learn more about Veranda Bay at verandabay.com. So there are over 20. These are substantial homes. Let's just put it that way in Veranda Bay. There are over 20 that are all completed, and all of the major builders there have models up, and you can drive through the community anytime and look at them. So let's talk about setting the record straight on some things. And this is a little more commentary than it is, well, some commentary, it's all fact, but it's not necessarily news. Developers do not pay fees and taxes.
I'm just going to repeat that for one more time. Developers do not pay fees and taxes.
Okay,
Who does?
Well, the developers may remit the fees and the taxes, and this is true across all businesses and all industries, all parts of the economy.
Right.
In the end, we, the people, pay the taxes in the end price of whatever it is we're buying, because everything, taxes and fees, although they're remitted by businesses, are just part of doing business, and they end up being part of the income and expense category. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
They get added to the price of whatever you're buying at the store.
So if you pay more for your house,
and they get added to the cost of your house.
So impact fees fall into that category. If you paid more for your house, or you did pay more for your house, even if it was an existing house, because of impact fees.
That's right.
And how is that true? Because there's a natural balance between the price of a new home and an existing home, and the market will typically pay a premium. Some will say in the area of 10% for a new home to have new construction because it's a new home warranty. The appliances are all new, and everything is shiny. You can kind of defer maintenance for a while.
Yeah.
But if you raise the price via impact fees by $10,000, as Palm Coast recently did with their impact fee increases, you're really raising, like the rising tide lifts all boats. The neighborhood of existing homes around that new home all just went up in value. Now, some people would say that's a good thing. I love it when my house goes up in value. But what if we're talking
Except
about
what happens then?
but you also paid more for it when you bought it because their impact
That's
fees
right.
were in effect at that time as
Yeah,
well.
and then also your taxes go up because of your value.
Well, they make impact fees make all homes less affordable by increasing the cost of a home. They increase the down payment required to buy that home. They increase the amount of mortgage required to buy the home. They increase the amount of homeowners insurance you're going to have to carry on that home. And it increased the cumulative amount of interest and property taxes. And interest and property taxes are in perpetuity. Interest as long as the mortgage is in effect, and property taxes as long as you own the home. So developers, here's another one. Developers in new communities pay for the construction of all infrastructure. That means the roads, the utilities, and in new communities, they're usually buried utilities, the amenities, sidewalks, streetlights, stormwater management systems. And they pay for that before they sell a single lot. But the homeowners in planned communities will pay in perpetuity for the ongoing maintenance of that infrastructure, except for the water and sewer. Municipalities cannot ignore the revenue opportunity presented by utility fees, so they hang on to that. Although the ownership, the developer still turns over all that infrastructure, utility infrastructure, to the city. They convey it at no cost to the city. Most people do not realize that.
No, yeah, so they pay all this money to the city, and then they also put in the pumps and all these other things that they then hand over. So I know because there's always all this talk of like, okay, well, you approved to the city council. So I'm being a resident to the city council. Well, you approved another housing development. Do we have enough water for them?
Well,
do we have enough water for them? And the answer is, well, they put in everything for the water and they paid a bunch of money. So in one sense, well, there better be because they just exploited all of this money out of them.
Well, here's
they promised it to them.
Here's an example. I found a recent example of a development that did not go forward partly because of this policy. But developers in Palm Coast pay, in this example, $8,400 per lot in what are called CIAC, which stands for Contributions in Aid of Construction. And they use the term CIAC because they can't spell extortion.
Well, they also pay the impact fees too, which I've noticed, which is it's not only extortion. There's actually a Florida statute against it, but that's probably another story.
These are not defined as impact fees. This is contribution.
But the impact fees are having to be paid as well.
Yeah, but they're
both of them.
Yeah, they both, but the timing is different though. I want to talk about this one first, the CIAC, because in this case, the development was, they were applying for a new development, planned unit development of 120 homes, and they were going to be charged by the city $1 million in CIAC fees in advance, and they would have to get that before they could even get their development order. So this is $1 million forked out ahead of time, and in this case it was $8,400 per lot. They don't get that money back until they actually sell the end lot or the end house, which could be years, because the typical build out for community might be 3 to 6 or 7 years, depending on the economy.
Yeah.
That
But
was
I did notice in going through some recent permits that the houses and townhouses that are in the PUDs, so the planned unit planned developments, they are paying. They've had their impact fees also paid in advance. They're not on the building permits, so those were paid in advance of the permits ever being pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Florida statute that relates to that. So there's some questions there as well. We got a lot of questions on this show, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. And the new development homeowners not only pay for all their own infrastructure, and they pay through HOA fees for the maintenance of that. And, back to impact fees, I've never heard of an impact fee consultant who was hired because they have a history of recommending fee reductions.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
We're kind of running short on time as usual, but I just want to finish up with Palm Coast's aging water and sewer pipes were configured to serve 225,000 residents. They are failing, in part due to deferred maintenance, and because they were all built at they're all the same age. They're all put in way ahead of time. Plus, there are only half the number of planned residents to pay the piper, pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
We need new developments with new residents to spread those ongoing costs. And with that, we'll wrap up the show. You want to finish the wrap up from your end?
Absolutely. Video podcasts of Real Estate Matters are available on gotoby.com. Click on podcasts on the top navigation bar. Show notes are included so you can see what we didn't get to on the show. Also on gotoby.com is the Flagler County interactive map of residential developments and subdivisions, which is updated regularly. If you have a question or a suggestion for Real Estate Matters or gotoby.com,
you can call me. I answer my own phone at 386-931-7124, or you can email me at Toby, T-O-B-Y, Toby at gotoby.com. Thanks for being with us. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show.